So this is session 1, Mutant Year Zero. This is from Free League or Fria Ligen, or however you say that. This is the newest edition of the Mutant role-playing game, which has been Gamma World Cyberpunk and crazy Mutant Chronicles and all kinds of different versions till we got to what we have today, which is an interesting, lighter system with a kind of meta-narrative about the apocalypse. It's not necessarily grimdark like Apocalypse World can be. It's a dark world, and things are players can go head-to-head against one another, or they can go against other NPCs, but there's not that kind of relentlessness that I think Apocalypse Worlds necessarily invites. But we'll talk about that a little bit here in kind of a tone discussion in just a second. I've played with all of these players before, so they are familiar with the safety tools. We will be using the X card, which you can either do in a message to me or by hand gesture. If we do hit material that you find objectionable, too dark, off tone, things like that, you can mark that out. I use the X card because it's the most simple of the tools. It's not particularly in depth, but for a tighter game space like this, that's my preferred way of handling things. Today, we're going to start out by doing character creation. So for those of you watching at home, this may not be nearly as interesting. And then we're going to build the arc, which is the space that the players live in. And then we're going to get rolling on things. I want to talk about how Mutant Year Zero plays and tell you a couple of features of the world to keep in mind as the four of you are doing character building. The premise is that all of you are in a community. You're all about the same age. There's probably about 200 people total in the community. All of you relatively the same age, maybe a slight difference. All of you have some kind of mutant power, some strange ability, and it can be a physical manifestation or mental. There are various different kinds of powers that people have. There's not a lot of memory about how you came to be here, how you came to be in the arc. It is a place with very, very low tech, with sort of living on the bare minimum. Food supplies that you've been eating out of cans with kind of a grayish green meat in them are dwindling. We'll talk about the actual sort of physical setup of this. The community has someone called the Elder, who once was, active and vibrant and a teacher to the community and a guide, but who is old, tired, and somewhat sick right now. And we'll figure out exactly what our elder looks like in the context of that. But things are changing because the elder is getting on in years, because food supplies are running out. Things need to change. One of the things that has been is that there are groups that go out into the zone, out into the dangerous rubble, risking the rot and the dangers that are out there. They come back with artifacts. The general rule in the community is that if you come back with an artifact, you're supposed to turn it in. You're supposed to give it to the elder for them, the elder and the others, to put it into the Dawn Vault. That's a questionable thing. What it translates to mechanically is when you come back as players with loot, you have to decide whether you want to keep it or turn it over. If you turn it over, it actually helps the community. It actually raises the stats of the community, potentially. If you keep it, it's sweet loot, but there are chances that people might spot it, and you might get in trouble on that. So that's a trade-off. You all have mutations. The neat thing about the mutations is that they have a couple of different abilities. They do a couple of different things. They all cost mutation points, which is written as MP on the various description sheets. At the start of each session, you get 1 mutation point for every mutation you have. So everybody's going to basically, for the time being, get 1. whenever you use a mutation, it happens. You do it. But you also have to roll a die. You roll a die for every mutation point that you spend. And essentially, if you roll a 1 on that die, when you do that, then you actually have to roll on another table to see what happens. And nothing could happen. Power might fail, or it might not cost you points. But there's also a chance that your powers will essentially overload, and you'll get a new power, and you'll lose a stat point, and you'll slowly progress towards your inevitable death. So, A, you get a power, yay. B, as Sherry's character did in the other game, you become less and less able to talk to other human beings as her empathy diminished throughout the course of the game. So that's the big thing. In the game, you have 4 essentially health tracks. Each of your stats is a health track. You can get taken out by going to 0 in each of those. The one that is a little bit different is that if your strength goes to 0 and you get hit again, you'll take a critical hit, and we roll on the lovely critical hit chart at that point to see the effect of that. So that are the basics there. Now in roll 20, we have a automated roller for our Mutant Year Zero dice, and I've got it in the syntax handout. It'll show you how to enter that in. It's basically exclamation point MYZ, and then it's got some formulas on how to put the numbers in for your dice. Generally, you're rolling, when you do a particular skill, rolling dice for equal to the value of the stat, the skill, and dice for any gear that you might have. And the roller, if you try that out, because I think you'll find it kind of cool, if you go ahead and try that syntax, you'll see that it'll pop up a little picture thing that you can use there.
How do I roll it with my sheet?
Can't roll it with your sheet.
Oh.
Okay, so that's actually something to say. Normally, there's some automation with the sheets in Roll20. In this case, you actually have to type in the syntax for it, and I'll show you what that looks like. Oh. So you see, I've just rolled those dice. Yeah. It's told me there how many successes I've rolled. Those are the green, the little nuke sign there. And then how many fails I've rolled. Right now, if I went with that result, I have 2 successes and I don't take any damage. It's awesome. That was a pretty good roll. However, if I wanted to, I could push myself and re-roll all the dice that didn't show 1s or 6s. However, I know right now if I did that, I would take a point of damage, because you can see I've got a 1 by the biohazard symbol there. But let's say I did, because I'm an idiot. There you go. So now I've got 3 successes, but I still take 1 damage. If I hadn't re-rolled, I wouldn't have taken any damage. However, the cool thing is, when I take that damage, I get a mutation point. So there's another reward for problems there. So now, Sherry, you're the gearhead,
how did
right?
you actually take the damage point?
Oh, so when you roll a standard roll, on the first roll, any 1s you roll, they stay there. They can't be re-rolled, and they don't do anything. But when you re-roll,
right,
then you take that damage. And to re-roll on the thing, you actually push the blue button for the re-roll.
Okay.
Well, the blue button's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, swanky.
It's like it's encouraging you to suicide.
Exactly. When we first played Mutant Year Zero, the first session, Sherry made the first roll, and she rolled, and she didn't get any successes, and she pushed it, and she got like 3 successes, and that set the stage for everybody to run like lemmings off the cliff the rest of the session. It was great.
I got 5. It was like an extreme
That's
failure.
Right.
Extreme.
It was a great success. The system is made to we're not rolling for everything. Rolls have some weight to them. If you get more successes than you need, then you get to spend them on extra stuff. That's the general rule of thumb.
Nice. I think I'm mostly good.
Okay. Sherry, how are you? What's your progress?
In what context, please?
Sorry, the progress with your character. Have you got things sort of put in?
Well, I don't have the list of talents. Is it in the documents here?
It's in the Google Drive folder.
Oh gosh, there's another link. Okay, I'm on it.
Yeah, I just need to do relationships and gear. Okay. It's weird because, so for gear, I just don't have any because it's like you start with D6 bullets, D6 rations, 2D6 of water, and then the other stuff is just weapons. So I just leave my gear stuff empty, I guess.
Yeah, you put that stuff under your gear listing.
Yeah, well, I just have weapons, so I just put it under weapons. Right?
And it actually gets listed under your gear as well.
Oh, both.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm just looking to fill in my bonus and damage for each of these weapons. I'm not sure where to find that.
Absolutely. So tell me what weapon you have.
I have a scrap rifle, a scrap pistol, and a bow.
Ooh, you've got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm a stalker.
Right. Find the table. Okay, a scrap pistol gives you a +1 bonus to shoot.
Okay.
And it does 2 damage.
Okay. Range is near?
Is short.
Short. Okay.
And then scrap rifle does the same thing, but long range.
Okay.
Both those items have to be reloaded after each shot.
Okay. I'll just put that in brackets next to each one, I guess.
And then a bow is a +1 to shoot, long range, and weapon damage is 1.
Okay. All right. Sounds like I should get a knife or something.
a scrap knife, yeah.
Yeah. And I need to get some grub, I think. It's kind of funny. For bullets, I was like, yes, roll a 6. Grub, 1. This is the opposite.
Well, at the beginning, a grub is pricey. So it's not a great conversion rate.
And then I have a lot of bullets, a lot of water, and no food. Rough.
Matt, how are you doing? Do you have any questions?
Internet there from. I don't think I have any questions. I'm just the sheet doesn't autofill much, right? You have to kind of manually do everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm doing good otherwise.
Okay.
So I'm done with my playbook, but I'm looking to fill in my stats. Where would I find that?
Your attributes, you mean?
Yeah, my attributes and my skills.
Okay. On your sheet, are you syntax or obakai? and then
Character sheet.
and then on your thing, and then there's actually two sheets: the arc sheet and the character sheet. Make sure you've clicked on the character sheet tab.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, attributes are over on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, like, where do I find the information to fill them in?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Let's see.
'Cause I'm looking at my playbook, and I've filled everything out on my playbook aside from relationships, but then it just doesn't have anything to do with attributes, conditions, skills.
So you have 14 points to spend on your attributes, and each attribute can go from 2 to 4. Your key attribute can go to 5.
Okay. It does say my key attribute somewhere. I saw that. Key attribute is agility.
Yeah.
And
Specialist skill.
Fraser of the
Sherry, you were saying?
I was going to say each of us have like a built-in skill, right? Like a skill that's just our own, and that we need to put under the skills.
That is correct.
As a separate one, and then we.
Right. It should say. It says on your sheet specialist skill.
Right, and then we have how many points? 14. You said.
You have 14 for stats, and 10 points for skills.
Crazy.
Oh. 14.
Yeah, 14 for stats and 10 points for skills, and the most you can have in any skill is 3.
Except for my key stat, right?
That's for skills.
Skills, right?
Your stats go 2 to 4. Key stat can go to 5. Get 14 points for that.
I'm confused a little bit. So the attributes is 14 points, or the skills are 14 points?
Attributes are 14 points.
Okay, cool. 2, 5, 6, 7.
So is there any benefit to your key attribute?
Well, having it higher is usually your key attribute is primed to your particular skill that your character uses. Like as a chronicler, you have that inspire skill.
Mm-hmm.
And the inspire skill is, I believe, keyed to empathy. So having a higher empathy means you're more likely, you use more dice when you roll with your inspire.
Right. Okay, makes sense.
If my key stat is agility.
I think it's just each that they have
What? My key attribute is agility, so what's the max I can put it to?
You could put that to 5.
Boom, 5. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Keep in mind as you're dividing that, these stats will never go up.
Right. I'm kind of playing a hard ass, so I'm putting low empathy. Is that going to be really bad for me?
Well, empathy is used to...
I also...
let me finish answering Fraser, and then I'll come to you, Matt. Empathy is used for like doing any kind of social skills most of the time. If you want to try and convince someone or persuade someone or interact or read them. It also can be used if somebody is putting social pressure on you.
Gotcha.
So just keep that in mind.
Are you allowed to have 0 in a skill? Is that done?
Yes.
That is done?
The only yes, for skills, you can put up to 3.
Okay.
You can have a 0 in it if you want. The only one that you have to have at least 1 point in is your specialty skill, so inspire.
And so it was 10 skills, 14 stats?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 skills, okay. And my special skill is find the path. That sounds important. So
yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's one that has a lot of interest. When you go out into the zone, you roll and you get to kind of spend those successes to do things as you move in your zone crawl.
Gotcha.
Matt, so you're having a lag for hearing us. Are you switching over to a hotspot then? Seeing if that works.
My phone because like when I speak, you guys are hearing me like 3 seconds behind, so I can't really hold a conversation.
I'm so sorry.
So I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay.
Oops. Wrong chat.
How often do we increase these skills? Is it sort of like attributes where it's like a cold day in hell when we ever raise them, or?
No, actually, you'll get experience points, and I would say every session or two, you'll probably have enough to either buy up a skill level or buy a new talent for your character, essentially a new special ability.
Okay. And do you think it's like better to put a couple in a skill that you really want, or have like a widespread? Like, does a widespread even help you that much?
Let's have Sherry answer that question.
Okay.
A widespread is incredibly helpful because without it, you're just rolling some bare dice and you got nothing to help you. Now, you do want to choose at least two skills that you have a little bit of depth in. But other than that, I would try to go, God, I don't want to fail at that. For instance, I've just noticed that I didn't put anything in endure, and that'll probably cause me all sorts of trouble later on. But
Gotcha. The only thing I'm not putting stuff in is comprehend, sense emotion, manipulate, and heal.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
I ran that scout.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like a very jaded person apparently, so yes, it should be good.
And everybody will get one talent from essentially your special talent pool.
Yeah, I'm scavenger.
Okay, that's a good one.
Oh, so if I get a +2 to find the path and I put 2 in it, I get 4. So that is really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. Yeah, I'll leave it, I guess. That should be my thing that I should be good at doing, so I won't try to do it more, but...
Actually, you can't be too good at scouting. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll always have if I'm running it right, you'll always have stuff to spend those extra successes on. That'll be nice.
Okay. Do you need me to do any encumbrance things with this rifle, pistol, and bow?
So the way this works for gear, let me see how they've got that in there. Okay, so each of those is a basic item.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can mark that. Essentially, there are basic, light, and of course tiny items.
Yeah.
You can carry up to your strength plus, I believe, 2.
Okay, strength +2, 6.
Let me check that and make sure.
I guess the sheet doesn't track this, hey, from what I'm seeing.
No.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. And I guess you can leave stuff behind too, because it has like a little check mark for carried.
That's equal to double your strength. So you could carry 8 basic items.
Okay. Do I need to worry about rating and amount?
No.
Okay.
Because those don't have a real. Sometimes you're going to get equipment that has gear dice to it.
Oh, okay.
And if it gives a big bonus, then it might get wear out over time, but you can then fix it. So that would be what the rating is about.
Okay. Cool. I really like that I can fly.
It is useful.
I think the only thing you can check my sheet if you want, but I think the only thing left is just relationships.
Okay. And we'll walk through that and everybody describe their stuff, and then we'll establish those PC relationships. And
I'm guessing I'll want to spend bullets to get some armor of some kind, probably.
Mm-hmm. It's actually one of the nice things about having the gearhead in the group is that the gearhead can make stuff for you guys.
Ooh.
Who's the gearhead?
Sherry.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, I think I'm at the relationship point too. As well.
Sherry, where are you at?
I can do relationships, but I do have a thing under gear that I get to roll for one artifact, which I start the game with.
Well, actually, I have the deck here.
All right. Just pull the best thing because you gave me the worst mutations.
Yeah. So
give her one veto.
If you want to pull a sword for me, I'll give you bullets or whatever you want.
Have some bullets. I don't need them with my
all right,
sword.
I'm going to draw 2, Sherry. I will take out anything that is truly terrible, and I will take out anything that is super high tech. So that is the compromise there. But I'm going to draw 2, and I will let you pick between them. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Those are kind of crappy. Okay. You have a choice between 2 things. Because I didn't give you like the fantasy novel or the boat as your options there.
Thank you.
There's a riot shield. It's a large plexiglass shield. It has a significant armor rating against ranged attacks that you when you crouch behind it. In close combat, it gives you a decent gear bonus. So that's nice. Or there's a nail gun, which is a pistol-like tool loaded with nails. It gives a bonus to shoot and jury rig.
Duh.
Okay.
Sorry. Wait, I mean, please, may I have the nail gun?
Okay.
Yes.
So let me read you the effect of this. It's a standard size item. Gear bonus is 2 to shoot, near range, and +2 to jury rig. The weapon damage is 2.
Ooh.
And now I need you to roll 2d6 so we can see how many bullets you have in that.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm on a laptop now with my phone data plan. Yay.
Yeah.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, you guys sound good.
Okay, good.
All right, let's get going.
Sherry, roll 2d6.
Almost. Got it. 9.
Well, what are the numbers?
4 and 5.
Okay, so you have 45 nails.
Oh, yes.
Score.
Yes.
That's a lot of nails, right?
Yeah.
Or is that...
No.
It is a lot of nails.
That's a lot of nails. Yeah.
So can I go ahead and roll for my gear as well?
No, Matt. I don't think you get anything.
Oh, it starts early.
Actually, you should see if there's any way you can give me a sword. Then you'll be like.
I noticed you have the most cyberpunk name I've ever seen in a apocalypse game, so I'm just waiting for you to get like some crazy tech sword or something.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll happen, but that'd be cool.
It would
a
be
sword
cool.
made from the nails that Jesus was strung up on.
Oof.
Okay.
Oof.
Oh, yeah. I will tell you, Fraser.
Hmm?
I hate to burst your bubble, but actually, you get to choose one of those starting weapons.
Oh. Okay.
Is mean.
If it makes you feel better, I don't start with any gear.
Okay, well, here's the question: If I choose the bow, is it like Last of Us, where I can headshot people and then take the bow, like the arrow, out of their head again and stuff?
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing if you have the time and the inclination to do that. And but if
Sherry
you want
got me. He's trying to trick me.
Definitely go with the bow and definitely argue for the time to get your arrows back.
Okay, sounds good.
this seems like
but
a problem.
only if you headshot them.
Yeah.
Anywhere else, they shatter.
Okay, modify.
So Matt, yeah, you can roll for your the values on your gear if you'd like.
I have done so. I D6 bullets, D6 water, but 2d6 rations, and on 2d6 I rolled a 3, and on the other 2 I just rolled a straight 6. So
That's great.
I just gonna need grub because I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
Guys, all have some problems there with the food supplies.
Yeah. The difference
My
is
name
if
was
people
going to
don't
be-
give me food, I'll kill them.
Oh, I'm on board with you, my friend. I hope you're not the one keeping food
We're
from
all
me.
together, right?
Yes.
Kind of.
A little bit
Yeah,
until I
we'll
get
see.
hungry. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me inform you a little bit about my character. My big dream is to find something worth dying for, and I need to protect no one. If they can't protect themselves, they deserve to die.
You literally found the Lone Ranger Batman badass character, and they're playing straight into it, and I love it so much.
Okay. So why don't you give us the full story on Syntax, who they are, what they look like, the powers, and then we'll have everybody introduce themselves. And actually, why don't you do your general relationships? We'll have everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll do the relationship to PC thing.
Okay. So Syntax. Is it me first? Yeah. Okay.
You spoke up, so you're on.
Okay, so Syntax is a stalker, which seems to be like a scout that is pretty badass. She's sickly pale, wiry, has camo gear, but apparently the camo gear is not armor. She's got a bow and arrow, and I imagine her kind of like a grown-up badass version of, I think, Ellie in The Last of Us. I can't remember the character's name, but I think it's Ellie. And so she's seen a whole bunch of people die, and she's looking for something to fight for, believe in, and she hates the enforcer Jonetz, who killed her only friend. She needs to protect no one. If they can't protect themselves, they deserve to die. And my big dream is to find something worth dying for. So I leaned into the bleakness of the
Did you say the guy's name was Gonads?
No, it's
Jonats.
Jonats.
Gonads.
Jonats.
That's better. That's better.
Yeah, not gonads.
You will have the ability to change those relationships as you go along. And I'll mention that because one of the questions in the experience section at the end of the session is, did you do anything to protect the NPC you want to protect?
Oh, okay.
So I'm just putting that out to you.
Okay, so maybe I should change that even? I don't know. Well, maybe it'll be a nice little character arc to start giving a shit about people.
I just wanted to tell you the sort of from the mechanical standpoint what you want to be aware of there.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, so you said Jonas killed your friend?
My only friend.
Only friend, right. I forgot you have 0 now.
So who was your only friend that Jonat's killed?
It was the guy who was protecting me in The Last of Us. I can't remember his name either, but this is very much like The Last of Us happened. and this is later, and I'm a grown-up Ellie.
So that's how you picture yourself. Okay. And so it was somebody in the camp who maybe seemed a little bit older than you and took you under their wing. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to give me a name?
Henry.
No. Let's go with...
Lowell's got a list of NPCs in the Roll20 thing if you want to just pick one of them to die right off the bat. I mean, that's kind of rough.
Let's go with Tula, and we'll make it like a woman, I think, who is protecting me instead of a guy, just so we get away from that.
Fraser, I have a question about Tula.
She's dead. I remember nothing.
No memories again. So you said that you're looking for something worth fighting for. Did Tula have something worth fighting for, and is that why they were your only friend?
I think they were just I think my reason for living was to protect Tula, and I failed at that.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so now there's a void there.
Yeah, but I'm too good to die still.
But you're
Too
satisfied.
good to die.
We'll come back on that because I'll be very curious when we'll talk. We've got Jonat's out there. We've got a picture of him in the Roll20 page. You can see what he looks like. And we'll come back to that about how that went down.
He's a weird guy. I'm glad I hate him.
Yeah.
With his Mickey Mouse thing.
Now you have insect wings.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us how you picture those. What do those look like?
I hadn't thought about that until this very moment, actually. I pictured them as sort of like below my clothing, and I might have like slits in them to let it go, but I probably have like a coat that covers it or a backpack or something like that. So I think I'm maybe not shameful or anything about it, but I'm also not like flagrantly flouting it or anything like that. It's I think it's more of a recent development, and maybe I haven't even tested like the limits to see what they can even do.
Oh, that's interesting. So one of the things you're suggesting is that some people's mutations come on later in their life. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
we'll
especially since I've been like the assumption is that I scout into this area a lot, so maybe there's some mythological, or not mythology, but like an urban legend-ish thing about how like if you go in there a lot, then those people develop that kind of stuff, sort of like Fallout style. Like you go into the radiation, gonna get something.
Yeah, but it's called the rot in this one.
Rot,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that if you have those insect wings and you have to kind of cut the clothing, that may be why you don't have a heavy armor, at least at the start, because you need it to be specially made. So that fits in all there.
Yeah.
Are we like, if we're all around, like if we only live to like 30, if we're all around like puberty, like maybe puberty is like a trigger as well, something like that.
Yeah,
okay.
That's when we become mutants. I mean, but there's no Xavier school. We don't know.
So some people have triggered early, some people have triggered later, but there are definitely kids that seem normal for a long time, and then one day their abilities break out for them.
Yeah, it might even have been like I like the idea of Tula dying, and then shortly thereafter I got it, and so she views it as sort of like it was visited upon her, and maybe it's like a punishment. And
maybe it was the same mutation as her. Who died?
Maybe.
So Fraser, you said that you got this mutation out in the zone, like while you were like, or what were you saying about your wings exactly?
They're just like a recent development. I don't think I have tested them or anything like that.
Okay, cool. But you're the stalker, and you spend a lot of time out in the zone, right?
Yeah, the rot.
Throwing out connections to relationships with other PCs once they come up in the explanation, or do you want to wait and do a whole round?
I want to wait and do them all around in there, if you don't mind.
I think I have a good one, but I'll put it on hold.
Yeah, let me hold off until Sherry gets back onto the channel, and then we'll go through.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, so like mechanically, I'm not even aware that I can fly yet.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if it's like a society structure thing too. Like maybe if you don't develop mutations, you're kind of like the lower class or something.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing. And let me pause here for just a moment, because it's something that we haven't addressed, and I wanted to. One of the archetypes in Mutant Year Zero is slave, which could be really problematic. So I wanted to check in with you guys. Here is generally how I've run it, and you can tell me if you'd like to make changes to that. Generally, the slave has been not exactly a slave, but essentially people who've been, kind of the economic underclass that have allied themselves with bosses or with people with power. And it's more of a kind of a indentured servitude or a kind of a serfdom rather than the sort of the full-on awfulness that is slavery.
Kind of like joining a gang in prison or something.
Yeah, that once you join in, you get obligations, and you're kind of stuck in that role, and it's hard to get out. So what do you what do you three think about that? Are you happy with that? You want to make some changes to it? Anything you want to add to that dynamic?
That sounds. Go ahead, Kyle.
I think it kind of might be cool if it's like, maybe you end up in that position if you do something wrong, like if you hurt the people or something. Maybe it's not like a forever thing. I don't know if people want to do that or if they'd rather something more, you're in it forever kind of thing.
That's interesting.
Like a time served kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting too if you had to sort of prove your worth for like sort of promotion. Like the idea is that there's not a lot of people, so they're not really disposable. You can't just like kill off or treat them like crap. And if people work for long enough and gain a certain level of proficiency, they could kind of rise through the ranks, sort of.
Okay, makes sense. So it's almost like a level of like shaming and pushing people to like, you know, be productive members of the group. Okay.
I think, sorry, Lo, did you go ahead? I just think that's cool. It plays off of how the elder wanted us to stay, you know, within the arc before he got too old and, you know, not leave and just protect ourselves. And now people are all about expanding and, you know, learning more information, going out into the zone that by sort of promoting the idea of working hard and, you know, in society in order to get further on, that sort of goes along with the new, probably what the new ideals of these people would be, because, you know, they don't want to just be stagnant and live around in the same old arc.
I like the idea that the punishment is sort of the core thing, that's why I become a slave. Is punishment as a thing that sort of goes across the different groups and the different bosses and things that are in here. And then this idea of proficiency is something that's getting worked on right now. It's a new thing. People are deciding how they want to handle it.
And it'd be cool if a lot of folks, like if, you know, I like the level that you have the slavery at, but maybe if there was slight fluctuations, like some people were a lot better with their, you know, slaves, and some might be a lot harsher.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we will definitely have several different bosses with competing interests there.
Cool.
Matthew, why don't we have you do your character next? We'll go through everything except for the sort of the other PC relationships. Have you introduce yourselves to us?
Sure. So there's a couple things that I still sort of need to work out, but I have most of it together. So
sure.
My character's name is Obakai. If you click on the Roll20 page, you can see a portrait. He is a very large crocodilian, like full-on mutant. Lo, I saw you posted in your inspiration folder. There was a lot of like pretty anthropomorphic, like people type mutants, and you know, from the art in the book, it is pretty. It's kind of camp level apocalypse almost. So I decided to go for the full crocodile humanoid.
Okay.
I think that though most people, you had said, gain their mutations at a fairly young age, or not necessarily a young age, but
it varies,
as they grow older, sometimes they develop them. I think I come from outside of the arc, if that is something that I can do.
Actually, no.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That is one of the premises of the game. So I hate to say no there, but that is one of the things that's kind of built in for this.
That's okay. I think so. The core conceit of my character is that my big dream is to reunite with who I believe are my people, because I think that I kind of want to play off the idea that there are people or communities out in the zone that people think are savages or marauders or just wild beasts. And many of them are, maybe most of them. But I think that my character thinks that some of those communities are worth allying with and communicating with and forming connections with, because he believes that he is from out in the zone. It may not be true, but he believes that maybe he was like dropped off here or something. And he's really pushing for moving out into the zone. He doesn't appreciate the elders' philosophy of staying holed up in the ark, protecting ourselves. He thinks we're squandering resources, valuable information about the before times. And you know, that there are also communities out there that people believe are just savage, you know, people, that he sees value in forming relationships with those communities and eventually hopefully establishing a new civilization away from all this baggage from the Elder and the system that we have happening right now.
And that makes sense because one of the things in the game is that you don't have, nobody has a good memory of how they came here of early days. So it would be possible for you to build up this story that you've told yourself, or this memory that you've got about that. So that's good. That's good. So let's go on with tell us about the rest of your character.
Yeah. So the picture kind of explains the look for itself. I just have like scarred, muscular, and huge. Like he's very large. I imagine like 7 feet, kind of hulking. I think that he is a very efficient killer. Like he is. He has high strength, high agility, fairly high agility, and high wits. So he's an efficient, like tactical thinker. Like he's almost like a super soldier type vibe a little bit. His empathy is quite low, though. I don't think he interacts with people all that well. It's mostly just because, I don't know. He's a big, scary crocodile man, and I think his beliefs don't align with a lot of the people in the arc. I think that. So I haven't quite decided on my talent, so I'll get back to that in a second. Right. But I believe. I think I hate the fixer Millix, who I think stole my stash of grub. I think Millix might be like the person that I get my arms from. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't actually looked at the Millix picture.
Yeah. Somebody that ripped you off in a deal kind of for that. Is that how that worked?
I think it's actually more so because it's I think stole my grub, not my bullets. So I think that they came to my place to like, try to sell me new equipment or something like that. And I think they stole from me.
Okay.
And I think I live in sort of, actually, we haven't talked about the environment of this yet. So I'll hold off on that for now before we, and I kind of stated my big dream earlier, which is to kind of generally explore and make use of the treasures out in the zone, but it's mostly about reconnecting with who I believe is my community out there, or even other communities that I could discover, sort of.
Okay.
And so one of the starting weapons I get are spiked bat, brass knuckles, scrap axe. I think it's a scrap axe.
Okay.
I'm gonna figure out exactly what that means. It's a heavy weapon. And is there anything else I need to know? I kind of went through my playbook there.
Who's the NPC you want to protect?
Oh, I want to protect. So I would like for there to be a boss who was really in favor of a lot of zone expeditions, someone who's really like going out there and looking hard into the zone at what possibilities lie out there.
Okay.
And I think that's someone who's getting a lot of heat from the other bosses who are happier with the system the way it is. Maybe they have more authority, more rank or whatever relationship with the Elder. And I think they have a lot of heat on them at their, rallies when they're trying to recruit members for their gang or whatever. Because I think their gang is more of an ideology thing.
Okay.
Should I pick one of these folks here, or I can go through the Pinterest?
You can. Let me give you a name, and then you can find a picture for him. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Let's call them. Get a good one that I like here. Bricktoria.
Bricktoria. Okay.
Bricktoria.
That's fun.
Okay. I'll let you find a name for that boss. Okay. Awesome. All right. I'm going to move on to Kyle.
All right. So my character's name is Silas. Let's see, get my sheet up here. So they're the chronicler. They're very distant and removed when nothing's really happening. Like you can tell he just like lives in his head for a lot of it. But when something's happening, he's like really intense and piercing and watching what's going on. Very lithe and lengthy. he's got the human plant mutation. So kind of like bark skin-ish type thing going on. And then I guess thorns as well. I'm not sure. I think so. He probably wears like wool clothing and stuff underneath a pair of baggy coveralls with the number 7 on them. And then he wears glasses with no lenses in them as well.
For the human plant and the bark, do you mention that his skin is brown? Is it green? Is it some other color?
I'm thinking something, very like brownish. So like almost if he like sits in front of a tree, he almost blends in kind of thing.
Okay.
If trees are still brown, I guess.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
How big are you imagining those thorns?
I wasn't really envisioning them that large, but one of the things on the mutation is that they can actually do damage. So I'm thinking maybe when agitated or something like that, they become a lot more pronounced.
Okay, that sounds good.
So like porcupine-ish kind of thing.
Sounds good.
But way cooler than that guy in the bad X-Men movie.
Okay. Oh God.
I need to protect my worn notebook, and I hate the chronicler Davin, who is a liar. So I'm imagining he's kind of like he'll, in exchange for like favors and stuff, he'll kind of like change their stories so that things that would be embarrassing or shameful or anything like that, he kind of like strikes from the record or makes it look better or that kind of thing.
Do you imagine that there are there's you, there's Davin? Do you imagine that there's how many other chroniclers would you guess there are in the camp?
I'm thinking maybe like 4 or 5 total.
Okay.
Maybe 5, and one of them's like on the older side or something.
Okay. More venerable, even though he's just a couple of years older. That makes sense.
A quick idea on that. Just to get the NPCs connected a little bit, it would be interesting if Davin, did you say?
Yes, the one that I don't like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be cool if Davin has stricken Jonat's murder from the record or something, because Jonat's killed Tula, and maybe that's why Syntax is like, I don't know, maybe they haven't gotten the justice that that Syntax thinks they should be served. Does that sound cool?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Okay, let's we'll make a note of that.
Feel free to like tweak that any way you want. It's just an idea.
No, yeah, that sounds cool to me. I'm trying to think if I have anything else. I think that covers most of my stuff.
I think that covers. And your big dream?
So I was thinking one of the reasons that I need to protect my own notebook is that I've got a long time ago I found like this botanist, like this woman, maybe in the Ark or like somewhere deep underground or something like that. I don't know if it's part of the story that we haven't been outside the Ark yet or what, but I was thinking that I found this woman and like have kind of been like kind of like infatuated with the story, her story, and I actually like she's I keep her hidden in my house, and it was her coveralls that I'm wearing now, and I just kind of like have all these stories about her life, and even with like kind of like a little bit of a creepy thing going on with like her in my dreams and like taking the place of like other people that I know and love and that kind of thing, and that his dream would be to bring her, like ask the rot to bring her back.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I like this sort of the dreaminess of that. That's good. I noticed that you've only done 10 points on your attributes.
Have I?
Yeah. I just at least what I'm looking here. So you want to make sure you do it, add another 4 onto that so you don't shortchange yourself.
Because you'll die.
Oh yeah, I must have thought it was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
I was throwing around 14, 10.
Yeah, I just
confusing
mixed up
everybody.
10 and 14 there.
Yeah.
And my skills are 2, 3.
I think you got 10
I
points.
was 10 there, so that's okay.
And as a chronicler, you get one of the chronicler's talents.
Right. I picked agitator, so +2 to
Ooh.
inspire someone to fight or shoot.
Okay.
But I'm thinking
That's
in my
an interesting
stories.
one.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my stories that I kind of think that he when he's with the group, he'll talk out loud and stuff too, and be like, "Oh well, for my story, it'd be cool if you said this or did this or that kind of thing," right? Just very stream of consciousness talker kind of thing.
Nice. Okay, I like it. All right, I'm going to.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to.
You can keep moving along.
I'm going to come to Sherry and have her introduce her gearhead. Get to that, and then I'll have we'll go back and we'll have everybody do their relationships to other PCs once everybody's introduced. Sherry, tell us about your character.
Annie Kyo is a gearhead. She's super thin. She has probably what would be described as cat-like appearance in a lot of ways. She always looks a little dissatisfied. She has a lot of nervous energy. She's always touching things and opening them up and poking at them. And she's really smart. But she's also really, really, she never settles on anything. She just keeps moving around, but she's got the talents. She doesn't really like to wear clothes if she can get away with it, but she'll wear as much that's necessary to protect her from the rot. But she doesn't like things that confine her. And she doesn't like people who try to control her. And she doesn't like rules that keep her from doing what she wants to do. And she's always poking and prodding and picking fights. And even though she's a little skinny thing, she can hold her own, strangely enough, with some of the biggest and strongest ones for only a little while, but it's because she can make them weak. And she found a nail gun, and it's her favorite thing, and she takes it everywhere.
Has she named the nail gun?
Nail gun.
Okay.
No, it probably has a brand name that she sounded out in some wrong way.
Makita.
Makita. I like that. Yes.
All right. So now you have the parasite ability. Does that have a visible manifestation? Or is it pretty subtle?
I think that the problem is that it is pretty subtle. So a lot of times people aren't quite sure what's happened. Though it's kind of a few people have whispered around enough that there's that she's trouble and that she can do things wrong things. So she's kind of they look at her as being a little witchy more than anything else.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
That's perfect.
Right.
Tell us about the hates and protects and dreams.
Well, I hate Davin, who claims he was the first one who could read, because it was me.
Okay.
And I need to protect Elon, who looks out for me, even though she thinks I don't notice. She looks out for me. And my big dream is to build a safe place where I can invent and figure things out, and no one will tell me what to do.
And how did this Elon connection come about?
They always bunked with each other. They were the same size and the same age and the same everything, and except that they're not at all alike, but they always got stuck at the same place in the back of the line, or the edge of the whatever was going on. But Elon's just a lot stronger than she is, and kind of meaner.
Mm-hmm.
And more forthright.
All right. That sounds great to me. Anything else you want to tell us about her?
Sure. I would say that Eniko really, really, really does like people who are kind of forthright and strong and know what they want because she knows what she wants. She just doesn't want them to cross her or tell her. So that tends to be how she rolls.
I dig it. All right. So I am going to come back around. We're going to start with same order. We're going to do that. Fraser, we're going to walk through. On your playbook, you have those PC relationship notes, essentially to assign those. So let's walk through those. Okay.
Is it like a AW where I invite people to do the thing, or I ascribe it to somebody else?
So you would ascribe it and then say, "Is that cool with you?" And essentially choose one for each of the other PCs. Feel free to modify, change if you're like, I don't like any of these, or this one isn't quite what I want.
I think maybe Obakai walked with me in the zone and lived. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I imagine you might be a person I would go to frequently to take me out like into the zone, or maybe we all do expeditions regularly, like as a group. I don't know how long we've known each other or anything, but I think you would be someone who I would definitely do that with often.
Awesome.
And probably, how do I pronounce Sherry's character's name?
Eniko.
Eniko. Maybe
Neko, like Nico, but she's saying the letters out loud.
Neko. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I think might actually understand me. Do I dare open up? Who knows? Apparently.
Sure.
Who knows? And then for Silas, I'm not sure what would really fit. Is a pompous idiot. If he gets in my way, he's going down, and is a danger to everyone. Keep your distance.
Or you can make up something else.
Or maybe you just distrust all chroniclers in general because of the thing with Davin striking from the record, the death of what's her face?
Tula.
Yeah. Maybe
you're just like, these guys are all assholes kind of thing.
I think maybe Silas is whatchamacallit, honor maybe, or like
it's the only good chronicler, or just another fucking chronicler, or
Kyle, do you make it known that you and Davin have beef? Like, are you opposed in any way?
I don't think so. So maybe that is it. Maybe it's like a thing where if anyone who has to go into the rod has to have a chronicler, so it's more like a responsive, like something you don't want to have around,
to protect them. Yeah, because they're kind of at risk. Okay, that's interesting.
Like, because maybe it's my duty to come back no matter what. So you have, like, we have your story of what happened kind of thing. And you just kind of resent the fact that there needs to be a chronicler there at all because they're all like the one that, is not even telling the right history, right?
Ooh.
I was gonna put Silas can be bought.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
I guess. I don't know if that really, like, it kind of doesn't really fit with my whole, because he's like, he hates the other guy for not telling the truth. So if
that's
I'm
true.
The same...
From my perspective, though, isn't it like you're saying how I think that you were basically like,
oh, maybe it's like chroniclers in general can be bought, you mean?
Yeah, well, it sounded to me like what you were saying is that I would think that you could be bought in that you're the one that helped cover up Tula's death, right?
No, so I hate the guy who did cover up.
Yeah, Davin is the one who covered that up. So.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you could just think like you would just lump us all together. Maybe that'd be fine too, right?
I'll just say Silas is a liability in the rot.
Okay.
That's fair too.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that Jonat's paid off Davin, who is because he's able to be paid off, right? And
Right.
you don't respect Davin because he's able to be paid, but
Exactly.
your character might not know that, Fraser.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like you might just think chroniclers in general, there's so few of us, right? There's like, you can, as long as you have something to trade, you write your own history kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we're not
Interesting.
all like that.
We'll play out the dynamic of that. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I am a liability, so no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's all mine.
Yeah. Let's move on and do Obakai.
All right. I want to get the picture for syntax, but it's not. Is it underneath all of these? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I think that so Jonat is the other boss. Well, I think that one of them should be that syntax is wonderful. The one in the book says someday. What are your pronouns, Fraser?
She, her.
Cool. I think the book says someday she will be mine. I don't really want that to be in the creepy possessive way that it seems to be sort of implying.
Yep.
But I do think that there is a fascination and maybe some kind of weird love going on. I don't know. But I think that in the way that it says she will be mine, I mean that like one day me and Syntax will go out together as part of whatever group goes to establish a new civilization in the zone.
Okay.
That's kind of like what I want my character to be about, is like I'm going to be pushing people to explore the zone. I'm going to be trying to build up friends around me who, basically what I'm putting down about how the zone has a lot of untapped potential. So, and the fact that Syntax is out there often, I'm at least a little caught up, let's say.
That makes sense to me.
Cool. And then, what is Silas's appearance again? And with the thorns, right? But how big are you, and what's your
like
pronouns?
Lithe and lanky, he, him, kind of like thin and pasty, kind of like like a typical, like a bookworm, I think you would say, except a little bit tall. I can't remember what I put for strength, if that matters, but yeah, maybe like a wiry strength to them kind of thing.
Cool. So chroniclers in general just chronicle, everything that happens within the arc.
I assume so. Yeah.
Well, I would assume we've established that they also record the journeys outside, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that'd be like kind of like a big thing, right? Because if they lose someone, like, how did we lose them? Can we go back to get their, equipment and all that kind of stuff? Because resources are pretty precious. So,
could I make my relationship like this is more of a belief statement, but like I would want Silas to be the one to document like our expedition and the construction of the first new civilization outside the arc. So it wouldn't be all that, but it would be like
it's like the new civilization, like what we call Eden, like the myth of Eden or whatever, or.
Yeah, I guess we're looking for Eden, right? So maybe it could be like Silas is the only one I could trust to document that. I feel like
or like believe in Eden kind of thing.
Do you see your character
is it a given
being
that we
about that?
Yeah, for sure. I would see that because they like have like a they kind of see like an entity out there that's like in their dreams and talking to them, and like they want to like be able to ask for something from them kind of thing. So definitely a belief in the rot, in the zone, and something bigger out there, hope, that kind of thing for sure.
Cool. Yeah, that lines up well with my beliefs. So maybe it's something like Silas is one of the only ones who truly understands me. That's kind of a simpler way of saying it, but like there will be intent there and more of a belief to happen. But like that's the core of the relationship. Is that's why I want you on board, because of your experience. I don't know if you shared it with me, but something about you, at least I feel like you understand that, you know, there's more out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what about Nico?
Yes.
Neko.
Neko. Sorry, I'm just getting a hold on everybody's. Neko, you are the gearhead, right?
She's thumbing up. Sorry. He has his camera off, Sherry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, sorry, Sherry. Yeah.
That's okay, sir.
What kind of stuff do you see your character working with?
Anything that hasn't been nailed down, anything I could get a hold of, anything that I probably shouldn't be, that someone possesses. Yeah, all of it.
Cool. Well, I saw one of the options for the enforcer is the face options is metal jaw. And as a crocodile person, I think it would be super cool if the entire bottom half of my jaw was like you made it for me or something like that.
Sure.
Do you think?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm a healer too. I mean, it might not be the most pleasant experience, but yeah, I'm a healer.
So maybe when I was like a little younger or something, it was like a big fight that I got in, you know, with another big enforcer from another gang or something. And I got the whole bottom jaw just torn off. And I came to you and you got me hooked up with a basically jaw prosthetic.
Sure.
I love the idea of you having to adjust that as you grow up.
Yeah, totally. It's like I have to go to the dentist. So, I mean, these are all like really positive relationships so far, but do you think it would be like any KO is someone I can go to like when I'm in dire straits or when I have nowhere else to turn? Like, or is it less of a pleasant experience?
I would say that's probably when she seems to be like she likes you best. Not that she wants you powerless, but that she never seems like she likes anyone. But when you really are in dire straits, yeah, sure, she'll help you out without any hesitation.
Cool. So and my character would just have a lot of trust in you if you were the one that basically gave me a part of my body back. So
that makes sense.
I think that's that one.
Okay. Silas, let's come to you.
All right. So I'm thinking for Obakai, are you like for pronouns, are you they them? Do you present gender or anything, or?
I was thinking about they them. I don't know if my character like I feel like they've been this way as long as they can remember, and maybe no one remembers them any other way, sort of like being a pretty full-on crocodile person. So,
and probably the only one in the arc, right?
I would think the only one to this extent, sort of like there might be other people with like reptilian mutations, but those are they're still fairly human, right? So that's kind of why I believe that I belong somewhere else. So yeah, I'm going to try with they them, and we'll see how we can keep the pronouns straight.
Sounds good. So I'm thinking.
Let me say about that. Yeah, do correct me if I get it wrong. I could be bad about that, especially when we're in a game and we're changing things around.
Yeah, so. I mean, I'm happy to just go with he/him. I mean, I don't want to do. I don't like doing that just at if it's something that we don't want to have to keep correcting and going back over. The character does look obviously male and would present fairly masculine, so I think I'll just stick with you.
Okay.
It's up to you. I'm willing to put in the effort to try to do it properly too.
You know what? I think it could be interesting. I think that's an aspect of the character to explore too.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like a good way of even making yourself an outsider in the arc as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I was thinking of doing is the hero of my story but doesn't know it for Obakai, because I think with that drive to find Eden and stuff. That's a big one. And I kind of feel like almost that I've got the feeling that they're the hero of my story, but I can't really influence it either, you know, like I have to kind of be distant and, you know, like let them figure it out kind of thing. For any KO, I was kind of playing around with the idea of will die soon. It's only a matter of time, only because I have like the feeling that I saw it in a dream kind of thing.
Okay.
So just like have like that feeling, and maybe can't even recall the dream, but just like the feeling of it.
I like that. And
then for syntax, I was thinking is a threat to the entire people, but only because I haven't really learned yet that I'm thinking more like, since they're hostile to chroniclers, and I believe my job, my chronicling, to be so imperative to the people, that someone who doesn't value that may not be a good part for Eden or for the future of the arc, kind of thing.
Even
nice.
like even though Davin,
yeah.
Davin is a dick. He still is like needs to be kept around because he's a chronicler and doing good work sometimes and stuff like that, right?
I think I'm obviously I hate. I think it says hate, yeah. So I'm really not a fan of Davin, but I think the contention that that I don't like is that you attribute it to all chroniclers.
Right.
I think that's the bigger issue.
Sure.
Awesome. Any KO? You are the last on this go round.
All right. So syntax. I'm thinking any KO thinks you're pretty much 90% scar tissue inside, but it makes you stronger and faster and meaner, and she's cool with that.
I'm 90% scar tissue.
Scar tissue inside.
Okay.
You don't know how to feel.
Yeah. So, and I'm thinking, let's see here. I think Silas isn't in the same world as the rest of us, but at least he knows what a shit Davin is.
I think that fits pretty well with all the dreams and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have Obakai is pushing, always pushing, but it's easy to stay out of the way.
All right.
But would it be that I'm always pushing to kind of get out of the arc, sort of, and pushing my way around?
You're pushing, always pushing. Everything you're doing is pushing. So
that's her reading on it. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. That can inform how I play too.
Of the three who are here, which one is your PC buddy? Your best friend among the three of them? I'm going to ask this of everybody in just a moment.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay. I think, like, I admire syntax, and I'm okay. Like, Silas is pretty harmless, but if I had to pick my buddy, the one that gonna go or what's gonna happen is probably Obakai.
Okay.
Does it have to be like a respective thing?
Mutual? No.
Nope.
Like if I choose you, do I have to choose
Nope.
me?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It can be however you want to do it. It is one of the experience points questions is, did you help out your PC buddy?
Okay.
Silas, who is your PC buddy?
I would like to do any KO if that's cool. I'm thinking like stay close, and because I'm worried about her dying, right? Kind of thing.
That makes good. And syntax, who is your PC buddy?
I think it's any KO because they're the only ones that might actually understand me, and especially if they think I'm mostly scar tissue, that makes sense.
Yeah. Understand. Okay.
They don't push you to feel.
Don't challenge the cold dead heart. So Obakai, who is your PC buddy?
Well, I think that I want Silas there to document the story, but Syntax is I want Syntax to be there, and when we lay the first brick. I think, I believe they're wonderful, so I think that's the safest buddy.
That makes sense.
And they're kind of your ticket out of the arc constantly, right?
Yeah, that too.
That's true.
Buddies are the people with the most arrows or bullets.
And I also probably feel
could-
a sense of guilt that I'm always like getting you to take me out there, sort of, because I need like guiding through there because I have no idea where I'm going.
All of the sort of the PC you hate, PC you want to protect, PC buddy, all of that stuff is something that at the end of session, after a significant session, we'll stop and check in, and if there's things you want to change there, you can change those. Those are all things that can shift during the course of play. We have kind of talked around and got a lot of stuff about our characters here built, but we're at about an hour and a half in, so let's take a 5-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the arc and focus in on that. So let's take 5.
Yay.
All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the environment and the arc, where you're at, all of those kinds of issues. On Roll20, I've pulled up a map. This is one of the many maps they have in for Mutant Year Zero. I chose this one because the little things on there aren't written in English, which I think is appropriately weird. And so it has that strange feel. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about environment, and then we're going to talk about where your arc is on the map, and then we're going to talk about what it's like. What is the place like? For example, in the game I ran here face to face, essentially it was a big fishing lodge by a lake, like a camp. And so there were cabins, and they had a fish hook museum and that kind of thing. And that was their big deal. And then in the other game I ran online, it was a tire factory. So there are all kinds of options for that. So let's talk climate here, if we can. What would you guys like? Are we in a northern cold latitude? Are we in the frigid wilds of someplace like Canada? You know, are we in a
Frigid wild.
fishy?
We have
Fishy
majority
smelling place
Canadian
like
pasture.
Prince Edward Island or something like that?
That would be cool.
Or are we more tropical? Or is it more dusty or dry? What do you guys think?
I like the idea of like a snowy apocalypse, kind of like Blade Runner-y, with the snow always falling and stuff.
Okay. You guys,
I would just like if we did that, if it wasn't like total ice age, like if there's still maybe grass on the ground and, you know, the snow melted and like fell, like it's still cold, but like it's not just like ice world, I guess.
oh yeah, no, that sounds good. We've got that kind of mix of
Maybe the closer you get to the rot, the warmer it gets.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a visible sign in some places. There's a weirdness certainly to the weather. So you might have zones that, you know, are ice covered while other ones aren't. But that the general idea of it being cold, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Evergreen trees.
Evergreen, yeah, okay. So we got trees around. You know, that just sort of crappy pines that have been planted throughout that are everywhere and manage to stay around. They're kind of the trash trees of the area that have managed to survive.
What if they ooze out some kind of nasty sap? Sorry, go ahead, Sherry.
I'm sure they do in many places, yes. Sherry?
That's what I said. Weed cedar. That's
okay. Yeah. So if you guys look at the map there, let's pick a space, a square where you're at, and there's actually numbers across the top and letters across the side. So that's a grid. This is your hex crawl area.
Oh.
So where would you like to be set?
I like how there's like Eden.
If we were in an area that had some water close by.
On the watery edges there?
Sure.
Yeah, it's all water nearby, but
Yeah.
do we want
like
the bloody water, the inland water? It looks like they're set.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could pulse on the map to see. If you hold your cursor on the map, you can pulse where you're thinking.
Yeah. So there's a couple of good places around.
Mm-hmm.
The blood splotch.
Yeah, I know.
Not a little ominous. The splotches are kind of cool though. Splotchy areas.
Maybe over here by the skull. Everybody loves the skull.
That's where you
Yeah, no.
Here, this has little islands by it down there.
What is?
Are we
is
doing
that?
like a? Did we say we were doing like in a city kind of thing? Did we say anything about that?
We'll have you define where you're at. We'll have you figure that out. We're gonna locate you on the map, and then we'll start talking about what actual kind of place you're in.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like it close to water and stuff too, so we might have.
Why don't we be along one of these like rivers or channel or whatever this is here? So it's a sort of main water, like the river here, I'm guessing.
Okay.
So if we do it like along there.
So ping us a place where you think might be cool,
Yeah.
Sherry.
Okay, so as far as I can tell, I am pinging. Can you see it?
I don't see anything.
You see the waves coming out of your cursor? Oh, there
Oh,
we go.
oh,
there
there
it
we go.
is. Yeah,
That's me.
that's
There
him.
you go.
Sure.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
see you now.
yeah.
She's right.
Yeah.
She's
No, she's
also
the green one. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not pinging.
Okay.
Because
Give us a letter code then, a letter and number code.
okay, so how about if we look at someplace like, oh geez, scroll, like along L
Okay.
and M in that latitude there.
Okay.
On the land, there's that kind of water that's running over there on more of the westish or central west area of the bigger continent.
So
southern.
So you are thinking like this?
That or a little bit
bit
east
up,
or west of that. Either
Okay.
one.
Like
Okay.
down there?
No, west. Yeah.
West is
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
Oh,
around there.
Fraser has the same problem I do. All right.
Yeah.
let's
Like
do
obviously the
that.
map isn't going to be the major factor in like what's around us, right?
Right.
Like it's not going to be like if you're not close to all these scribbles, then nothing much is going to be around there.
No.
Right?
It is.
No,
it's not
there's
a
something
point
in
problem.
every place.
I like
Yeah.
I like it being like here then, so we're really close to the water and
Okay.
which
So
is
I'm gonna
like
put
M12.
like that.
Yeah.
Little square. That good?
Yeah, if
Sure.
people are cool with that.
Do you guys want to go even the one above that and be on the pier? Like, can we think of some kind of facility that might have been like built on or near water that we would actually could actually be the arc itself?
Maybe like
Or I'm okay being inland too.
could be like a oil tanker that ran up or something.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or it could
Okay,
just
so-
be like a big marine facility that's there.
Yeah, like maybe they were even building one of those huge ships and then they had to abandon it or something ominously.
Oh, so like one
Oh,
of those.
that's
If
right.
you ever watch those projects, those shows where they do the building of the giant super tankers, that are massive things that could be sort of a partially constructed kind of dry dock thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Sure.
I'm thinking.
Okay. So let me make some notes on that then.
And it's been so long that maybe we don't even know what it would have been or something too. What they were making.
Okay.
It would have been the Red October, but we're in a parallel universe. We had the I can't remember what they call it, the Turtle Drive or whatever.
The turtle drive.
Pretty sure
those
it's something
special
else, but
drives.
yeah. Well, I
All
wasn't
right.
sure if it was more like sci-fi with your mutant stuff. So, if there's like advanced technology or whatever that was in there, I don't know.
It might be like the Blue Submarine #6 or something like that. That was sort of half built or but it's sort of a giant, sea vessel that was half constructed. That's on kind of a dry dock. We probably see out in the waters. There are probably other vessels that are half buried and that kind of thing. So that seems good. We'll do next time. I'll like get an outline, like a ship shape.
Sure.
And we'll put that on one of the tabs, and we'll maybe draw some things in next time, like where your den is, and where the elder is at. Maybe I can find like an exploded cutaway kind of thing, and we'll see what we can do for that. So we won't worry about actually just sort of drawing the arc itself today. what do you guys use for water? How is the water filtered here? I mean, this is a place where we got nasty acid rain, and probably the water that's out there in the bay isn't very good to drink. So how are you handling water? Is there a filtration pump? Is it rain barrels that is filtration, or what?
I kind of like the idea that the ship has constructed the filtration for us, and we're using that.
Okay.
Because it's only partially constructed, maybe it's only like somewhat reliable.
Okay. I like that.
And it could be cool if at this point our population has gotten so large that it can't work fast enough to produce enough water for everybody else. So like we're looking for other sources.
Yeah, you're at the limits.
Mm-hmm.
If only we could.
And maybe
turn on
since
the
it looks
drive.
technological, people also like, maybe there's like factions that think like we shouldn't be drinking it because it's technological and not natural or something.
People believing in a new pure water, like the people who's selling bacterial water now.
Yeah.
So okay.
We
yeah,
all
seriously.
worship the Brita filter.
This is the Brita.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some folks who just drink the bay water too. They're called the drinkers, and like things happen to them.
Yeah, because it's hard to clear the rot, especially that way. Now, you guys would have eaten out of like food supplies that would have been around on these various ships, cans of things, and like old cans, unlabeled. The labels are gone, so when you open them up, it's got that pink meat, but then this sort of greenish blue gel that's on top of it. That's kind of sticky. All of it
Like
has.
glycerin.
Yeah, it all looks like the worst cat food, but
It's used as an explosive as well.
Yes. But food is tight. That kind of grub, you guys are coming to the end of those supplies. Sherry, what's one? Let's establish at least one cool thing. What's one cool thing in this sort of half-built ship arc? What's one neat thing that's there?
I think that one of the things is that there's a whole set of security lighting that was built around the building area, like that dry dock. And since it was solar powered, it still is working, at least partially. So we're like one of these few places in this whole area that has light. For good or for bad.
And now we know why you have so many nails.
Yes. And probably there's some places that are flickering and starting to give out, so you gain that sort of things. I imagine too, inside the ship there might have been those like glow strip things to mark out areas that are around. So there's probably those dim lighting the corridors at night.
Probably like different colors denoting different areas of the ship and different factions, maybe as well, like the blues and the greens and stuff.
Blues and greens, okay. I will take a page from Fraser's book and set a color for the particular things there. I like that, by the way. Fraser, what's another cool thing or interesting feature of this ship, the arc there, or the area right around it?
Maybe it has a functioning radar system, and we use it maybe to hunt. Like if something large enough it pops up on the radar, then we know it's like something that we can kill and eat, like maybe like sea creatures even. We could eat them.
That's what you tell yourselves.
Yeah.
It probably is mostly that if it's big enough to show up on the radar, you don't want to mess with it.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't know.
Well, it's advanced. It's advanced enough. We could just click the dot for like little elk, or like huge thing we don't fuck with, And
yeah, it's like fishing sonar. You can look for a big fish, or you can look for a whole school of fish.
Exactly. See?
I fish.
Eventually,
I could hunt.
Yeah. Eventually, you find out it's a simulation. So, okay, I like that. We got the machine that goes ping. There's that probably, I imagine that area, if it's been built in, there's probably that glow from the radar screen there that illuminates that room. All right. Kyle, what's another cool feature or thing in this ship?
Maybe like deep inside of it, there's like a luminescent algae that grows. And there's like kind of like a cult around it, maybe, so that they, some people like eat it, and like that's how they, hallucinate and have visions and stuff.
Ooh. Okay, so this luminescent. So we got the drinkers, we've got the glow algae, a peyote cult that's down there. Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. We'll probably have one of the bosses that's their area that they keep an eye on, they watch over. And Matt, what's another feature?
I think that a few kilometers offshore, there's an oil platform. I guess they're typically further out into the sea, aren't they?
Well, except that if it was being built, it would have been like halfway towed out there and might be just sitting there.
Yeah, I think there's one out there, and I think it's kind of run by a gang, or it's a very hedonistic kind of gang. There's just a lot of debauchery that happens out there, but people know, like, sometimes people go out there to sort of party, but it's not a safe place.
So so these are people originally from your arc then?
If this is too like much of a spread out thing, we can nix that. But I was thinking that it still almost is a part of the arc. It's just kind of like gang controlled territory, and
okay.
So it's maybe we go regularly back and forth between there.
Okay, so like there's one boss that has the party platform.
Yeah, but it's also used for other things. Like, it's still a functioning part of the arc. It's just kind of like the bad neighborhood sort of the place.
Like police don't go there or something.
Yeah, it's like what's the flotilla sort of like it's
okay.
Like
so
we've got pirates
fairly close by that you can actually move from the oil platform to the boat. So we'll just kind of mark it on the map as a sort of secondary tier thing off of that. Okay. And what I'll do between now and next time is I'll kind of come up with some bosses and that we have there. We have a couple names on the table, and we'll figure out what they're about and what their details are. We've already established some of the NPCs, and next time we'll kind of try to figure out where people are at. Now, got this boat, got this oil platform. We're going to fill in some details next time, but we're actually going to do a little mechanical bit here. So there is for the arc itself. And I'll type in the things that you've come up with, and we'll put all that on this sheet. But let me talk about the tech levels. Your community is measured in food supply, culture, technology, and warfare. And they essentially have breakpoints at 10. So from 0 to 9, it's like this, and from 10 to 19 is this next stage, and so on. So you're going to get 12 points to spread across those 4 areas. Let me talk about what that means. Right now, your food level is 0 until you put points into it. And that first level of food is the struggle for grub is desperate. You only have like a meager stockpile left. Essentially, whatever edible plants and animals you manage to grow or kill. And ration of grub is 1 bullet. That's the standard trading value at that point. Culture is about understanding artifacts and understanding the remains of the old age. At that lowest level there, the 0 to 9, you don't really have formal cultural expression. The chroniclers might know how to read and write, but literacy otherwise is out of there. They may not even know what fancy swords are, and that kind of thing. So that might be a problem. Um, uh, mostly the expression is tales told by trash can fire. Technology is about how much you understand. In this case, at the lowest level, the 0 to 9, besides the gearheads, other people don't understand how things work. The elders taught people some things, but a lot of that's been forgotten. So it's weak. It means it's harder to understand things when you find them as well. And lastly, warfare determines how well you can stand up to raids. And at 0 to 9, you're exposed. You've got some barricades, maybe some police tape, that kind of thing. But otherwise, you're fairly open.
So
and
0 to 9 is that, and we have 10 points.
No, you don't have 10 points. You've got 12.
Oh, well, okay, great.
So what's going to happen is at the start of a session, we're going to talk about projects. And projects are essentially things that you've decided that you guys decide the community ought to focus on. And you spend some time, we do kind of a scene with that when you decide on your project about building it and creating it. And those will raise your ratings in those areas. Artifacts brought back can also do that as well. So the question is, how you want to divide those 12 points, though?
Sherry, tell us.
Damn it.
So essentially what it is you go, oh, we need to hear about the things that we can build at first, and then how much of a boost they'll give us. And then you decide what you're going to push over the edge to the first, into the first rank. And you kind of put a few more points into that so that you have a decent chance of doing that when we get this thing built. And then the other ones you put it there fairly evenly, and then we try to build those up with artifacts. So does that make any sense? But he needs to tell us what we can do for projects, and we pick that, and then we support.
All right. So having heard that, thank you, Sherry. Here are the possible projects that you can work on. Projects use a particular set of skills. Like, for example, we have defenses as one of the projects. And for you guys to work on that, you would roll either your force or your scout as the thing. And the number of successes goes towards the points that are needed to do it. And right now there are 4 of you, so it would take 8 points to build defenses. But if you did, you would get to roll 2d6 and add it to your warfare. So that's defenses. Hunting party only takes 4 points to do, but it adds 2d6 to your food supply. Cannibalism is an option, but I'm leaving it off the table. Since we're not going to make that a formal project for the group, if you guys don't mind.
Not at all.
Cropland, if you want to start, having a group trying to find and build some cropland, it takes 12 points to do it, but you get 3d6 to your food supply. Slave market, essentially it's that the boss is kind of trading around those people and that kind of thing. If we want to do that, it costs 8 points. You get a d6 to your food supply and d6 to your warfare. But of course, it means that there's some tensions created from that one. A pigsty also takes 8 points, and it increases the food supply by 2d6. You can build a temple to whatever a god you decide, and that increases culture by a d6. There's zone wrestling, where you build a Thunderdome, and that increases your warfare by a d6. And those are all the ones that you can build at your current level.
So in terms of best returns, hunting seems like the thing to do, right?
Correct.
So I don't know if we want to play it like that. One thing that I think makes sense too is if we're kind of surplus in food, it means that the camp is less likely to care about going in search of Eden. So maybe that's why we're the guys who actually want to go look for it still, kind of thing.
Right.
So then maybe start with a 0 in food supply.
No.
Like all happy about it. Maybe you want nothing.
No, we get 2d6, so on average we'll get a 6 out of that. So we want to put like 4 into it, and then distribute our points between the other ones for later projects. But yeah, we want to put like a 4 in that, so we have a decent chance of actually going up a rank on food.
At least a 4 or 5 kind of thing.
So let's say if we put 4 into food, that leaves you 8 points. Where would you put those other 8 points?
I feel like war. Do we get attacked a lot? Sure. Like, is that a thing that happens?
We do if we're exposed.
What happens is he randomly draws cards for like what event is going to occur. So we don't know what we're going to get hit with
Random.
first.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the threat deck.
So defense is not a bad second one. We could put 4 in it too, so that our next project on it would bring that up. But and then 2 points in the other 2.
That makes sense.
Sure.
Is it worth like diversifying into all of them? Should we go 3 or even just 2 of them for now until we get unlock something, and then or is this a situation where we want to spread out?
After we do one project, are more projects opened up to us, like diversity-wise?
Yeah, and also if we go out into the waste and we come back with artifacts, but things that aren't that useful to us, we turn them in, and those boost the different scores too. So, you can go out and find gaudy earrings, bring them back, and turn them into culture.
Right.
I will just say that my character is interested in building a stables, which requires 10 food, but gets us D6 food and D6 warfare, and then we can train and use mounts for riding.
But I don't think we have that open to us yet.
Well, the thing I'm wondering is, like, we get to assign the 12 points and then choose a first project, right? So we could technically do any of the ones with 10. We just have to put 10 points in them. And I'm not suggesting that we do stables immediately. I was just looking in the future. But
that is correct. Yes.
Oh, do you mean if you have a 10 in it, then you can do stables? Is that what you're saying?
Then you could do stables as a project. Yeah.
But I'm happy to start with some no requirement ones if you guys want to keep our points for now. Or we get to a level and then we're able to, if we get the right number of work points. Is that how it works?
Yeah, there are different requirements on it. And actually, if you want to check out between the sessions, I did put, I believe, make sure I've got that in there.
Arch. Yeah, there's a little arc thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that has all the projects in it that you guys can take a look at and see.
Oh, sorry, I should have said I was looking through the rules. That's why I got further on into the stuff. My bad. So we can just.
You need a 10 in which one to do your stables?
It's okay. I mean, yeah, you need a 10 in food, but that's just. I think it would be a fun thing to have. We could even get like sea mounts or something and ride like, I don't know, something into the waters.
That's probably manatees.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to go with something more practical to start with. I like the ideas of cropland and hunting party with low defenses, but that's because I'm the enforcer, and that means I'll just be useful and it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm really into an idea of hunting a mutant creature in the water. Some kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hence my radar.
Yeah.
Then I wish
like
I
you could have
a boat.
Yeah.
What?
Do we have a boat? How does that work?
I didn't pull the boat for her, one of her artifacts. So.
Oh yeah, right.
But we can also work towards eventually getting ships.
Yep.
So that's something we want.
Let's dial back just a moment. Let's go back to development levels.
Yeah.
I know we've said 4 on food supply. got 8 more points. How would you like to divvy those? I've heard Hunting Party with its easy roll and 2d6 worth of food was talked about.
Yeah, that seems good.
Okay, so how do you want to put the other points for your development levels? I will say that the one that is least important right now is culture.
That makes sense too for the story.
And we have. I kind of like the idea of our gearhead being like a savvy head, where everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?" And it's like a radio or whatever, and you're like,
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story.
I'll tell you what it is. It's mine.
Yeah.
It's my sex box, and her name is Sony.
Yeah. I'm thinking warfare.
We could put 5 into culture and take the sundial, or work on the sundial, and then get D6 technology back, and then we could tell the time. But I'm happy with whatever else. But that's if we want to start like pushing towards future technology stuff, because like the harbor and a lot of other cool stuff needs technology, so that'd be a good way to start getting into that.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say in 3 sessions we're probably not getting that much done anyway, right?
Right. I keep thinking of this as a 9-session arc because I'm in.
Yeah.
It will be eventually 13 total sessions, but right now I know you guys are in the first 5.
Yeah. So even like what is like in 13 sessions or 5 sessions, let's say, how do we maximize that potential? That's what I'm looking at.
I will say that by the time they got to session 12, between expeditions and projects, that they had maxed a couple of them.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting. Because artifacts are significant.
Yeah. And you just have to choose judiciously. You can't use or carry everything. And, you know, there's a certain point at which you turn over and go, hearts and minds are what you're going for. So.
Right.
So should we look a little in advance, and like, is there anything you guys are interested in? Like smokehouse, harbor, marketplace, stables, tavern. But otherwise, I'm happy to just go with whatever, and I'm sure we'll like work it out by the time we
these lower levels, these aren't nearly as impactful as they will become.
Yeah, no need to optimize it perfectly. Let's just get into it.
All right. So
why don't we just do 4 tech, 4 warfare? Leave culture 0. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Having heard 4 tech, 4 warfare.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Now the other thing I heard is that for your first project, you were going to do a hunting party.
Someone else roll for that. I don't want to be.
Oh, well, let me tell you, this is how this works. Is a hunting party, when you go to do this, normally we do this at the start of session, you would decide, and then it would ask, okay, who is working on the project? Usually everybody can work on the project, and you kind of describe how you're doing it. You might not if you wanted to do special things like, okay, I want to work on a gearhead thing separately, or I want to work on an extra thing over here. But normally we give everybody the opportunity and the option to help out with that.
Because it gives you experience to do that.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I'm helping. I'm training people how to hunt, I guess.
Let me get to this. So,
to the ground, and I'm like, see, those are tracks. You follow those.
So for the hunting party, the skills you're going to be rolling are endure or shoot. If you don't have a skill in either of those, then you'll use whatever stat you have. You can just roll those dice. And it requires a total of 4 work points, so 4 successes to get that accomplished.
And you can like hurt yourself doing this kind of thing?
I'm assuming...
Only if you push your roll.
Okay.
So if I roll, like I max out my agility, right? So I'd want to use the agility skill rooted in it. Right?
Definitely. So actually, let's start with you, Fraser.
I'll do shoot, which is 5 agility and 1 skill.
Okay. And you've got the syntax for how to roll that, right?
The syntax for how to roll that.
How to do the die roller for it, right?
How to do the die roll? No, I'm not sure how to do
Here,
that.
I'm gonna
It's in
actually
the journal.
a
It's
little
in the
notepad.
journal.
I'm gonna see if I
Oh,
can.
the handout.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I've got mine ready to go if you want to take a
Yeah,
second.
why
Let
don't
me let's do Fraser. So how many you have a 5 in your agility, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you've got a 1 in your skill.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't have any gear dice that give a bonus to this right now.
Okay, that's the last one.
Yep.
Cool. Let's see. Gotcha. Skill stat. Okay. That
Okay.
seems straightforward.
All right.
Do you want me to do it?
Well, I'll show you what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it looks like right now.
That doesn't seem very good.
That's not a great roll.
Well, it's 'cause
So
maybe I should roll. That was a good example. Well, let
tell
me
you what,
try.
I'll let you do that even because you can roll words. So go ahead,
Oh, really?
use the
I could
syntax
roll
and do the
words?
roll.
That's not good. Okay. So for the last one, X, I just put 0, right?
Yes, absolutely. Good call.
I guess I didn't do it right. It says error. I'm just replacing the D with like. Right.
Replacing the X, not the D.
You're replacing the X.
Yeah.
X is the number. You leave the D6 and all that. Leave everything but the
Oh,
X.
there we go. Oh, so similar.
Oh, so you got 1 success.
Yeah.
So look at that. You've got 1 success. You've contributed 25% towards a project. Look at that. You're great. But if you wanted, you could push that goal and maybe get more successes.
Right.
But you don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of us.
Yes.
Right. That makes sense.
Got this.
This
Okay.
is for I need to reroll when I'm hunting the beast out in the ocean.
Absolutely. Then you can burn all your stats down. So that's great. Matthew, you said you were ready, so let's have you go second.
Cool. So I'm going to be using endure and strength. I think if syntax is teaching people to hunt, kind of like the location and the tracking stuff of it, I'm teaching people how to hunt in like the stalking your prey kind of way, and like enduring, camping out for a long time to find the perfect target. So
Okay.
I'll
like
go
that.
ahead.
I like that.
We'll see.
We will see. Right. Okay.
That doesn't seem right.
You must have put no dice in there.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I guess.
Did you just copy
That's
and paste
pretty
the thing
funny.
without changing the numbers, maybe?
No. Here, I've got it. I think I didn't write D6 the first time. So
Yeah. Believe me, it took me a couple tries. Once you get used to it, it's good because it's a really nice automated roller. But right now, it feels like weirdness.
Well, I'm assuming after you roll it once, you'll be able to look on your frequently rolled dice and then put that in and then change it, right? Probably.
Maybe.
2 successes.
2 successes. So look at that. Now, let me tell you why he wouldn't want to re-roll. Besides the fact that he got 2 successes, right now, if he re-rolled, he would take at least 2 points of damage on his strength. That's what the little biohazard there is.
A biohazard is always strength?
No, it's always damage, but he rolled with his strength, so he would take the damage there.
Right. That makes sense.
And what's the little bullet thing on the third line?
So if he had like he was using gear, like a device or an artifact, if you're using that and you do a reroll and get the explosion on the gear dice, it means the gear breaks down.
Okay, so that's only active if you roll a gear.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's come to you, Kyle, and have you roll. Our chronicler, do you use shoot or endure?
I'll be enduring.
Okay.
With strength, so I think I envision it more of just struggling to keep up with them. I'm rolling 4 dice total.
Okay. All right.
So it's mostly just trying to keep up with them. Are we in like I'm picturing more of like a snowy Arctic-y
Sure.
sort of-
Yeah.
So
This is the Mulan part where I'm like, I'll make a man out of you guys.
But look at this with 4 dice.
I
You
did
do
a-
awesome. 2 successes.
Yeah.
Woo!
So what is it that happens that kind of makes you, a show off in a bit?
I'm not sure. I was like
Well,
just
if you-
picturing the guy just struggling to keep up more than anything.
Well, maybe
But-
maybe before you went on you chronicle all these journeys, right? So maybe you've seen this done before and then can replicate that result because you've chronicled it before.
Yeah.
right?
Or we
maybe
get
maybe I'm more observant. Like I point out like a pair of tracks or something that you didn't notice or something.
You're teaching people how to do hunting, so maybe you're doing like the Lascaux cave paintings of, stab here
Yeah.
on things, that kind of thing.
Here's
So,
where you crit.
okay. So now here comes
This
the
is-
most unpleasant part of this. Now you've succeeded. One of you has to roll 2d6 to see how much you actually get.
Well, but
Considering Jerry hasn't rolled.
yeah, what about that?
See, now here's the great part. This is why I had Sherry go last, I'll tell you. Because you guys have already completed the project. You can only do 1 project per session. But so she doesn't have to work on it. But what she can do as a gearhead is she could make some stuff. So she could use her extra action that she would have done for the project towards that. So that's why I actually have her
Still
go
get
last.
XP? Or
Yeah, you guys will get XP. I'll come to the XP you're going to get this session.
but I mean,
so
does she still get it, or do you only get XP if you work on a
she will not
project?
get XP.
Ah, sorry.
It's the price of playing the gearhead.
It kind of is. So since she didn't get XP, let's not make her roll the 2d6 for your food. Fraser, a noted game designer of the Vale who just released a Patreon. How about you roll those 2d6?
Call him out.
That's good. So I just
And people will only look at your Patreon page if you succeed.
Yes.
Great.
Just 2 straight dice.
So just roll 2d6 straight.
Yep.
That's not the worst.
Below
Hey.
average.
Okay.
But that takes you to 10, which is really good. That is kind of exactly what you need to do.
All
It
right,
means
you're forgiven.
That means
it means that what happens is that this hunting party kind of starts to turn that around a little bit. That food is a little bit better. Starvation still isn't far away, but you have enough grub to cover your day-to-day needs. As long as the harvest or the hunt isn't threatened. Now, typically once this kind of happens, you can get 2 rations of grub for 1 bullet.
great.
So that's pretty nice.
And it's
Now,
double
is that
what it was
just
before.
is that just jargon? Like, are we actually hunting for grub?
It's that the now the people in the community are hunting for grub. You guys don't have to do that each session, but that's sort of the
grub
fiction.
Or just like
Oh well, I don't know. Is that what's going on? Is that what you're finding and hunting?
Uh,
it'd be kind of cool if we're going like down into caves and stuff instead of like
yeah.
because
Maybe
we're
we're
on the
looking-
coast, right? So kind of
Mhm.
makes sense. Like we're looking in caves and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe we're looking for edible algae and stuff like that.
Okay, that
Insects.
makes sense to me.
And the
Insects.
trails would actually be like actually kind of a hard thing to distinguish too, right?
Yeah, yeah, I like
Trails with,
that.
like the plant life building up and or whatever.
Yeah, all
Now
kinds
we,
of
we just have
creatures.
to remember to never build stables for no reason.
But guys, we can afford it now. I
We can't
also,
do it till next anyway, though, right? So
yeah. It could be cool if, even though this is a snowy area, like there's a lot less like mammalian and furry life, and there's a lot of like insects and weird plant life and stuff, like crustaceans that have survived for some reason into this cold and dark time.
yeah,
Okay.
like weird, like not obviously based in technological stuff, but like strange creatures, just like Tales of the Loop, except rooted in like organic matter and stuff that like
Well,
just
like those
weird
creatures,
things.
like like those weird ones, like the Burgess shale or something like that kind of creatures.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We eat the Burgess shale.
What's that?
Like the coelacanths and things like that.
Yeah, like they have really weird names, like onomatopoeia and like a whole bunch of weird. I can't remember the names, but they're all like really weird, and they're kind of like they all like kind of have not all, but I guess a lot of them have like shells, and then like kind of like cross between like snails and like fish life and like that kind of thing.
Okay, I will look that up.
I put a Google search link.
There's lots of
onomatopoeia is my favorite animal sound.
Yes.
I mean, animal name ever.
Yeah. I know it's a literary device, so I'm not sure if I'm mixing it up, but it's very close.
Yes.
It's a literary device, yeah.
I think it might actually be that same name, though.
So. Oh, yeah?
I don't think so.
Yeah. It would be weird, I think, but...
I might get a D6 in grubs or whatever.
Fair enough. If onomatopoeia is the name of one of these Burgess shale creatures, you'll get a D6 in grub.
And we get a sword.
Yeah, and you can get a sword.
Oh, that's how confident you are. Okay.
Yes. All right. Let's.
So can I make a crafting roll?
Yeah. So Sherry, this is your jury rig roll where you're going to make some stuff. What kind of components do you think you have?
Well, we have, because this is like a place where they're building stuff, there's a ton of viscine, isn't that what they call that plastic?
Yeah.
I think I could make some mighty fine rot suits.
Okay.
Which might be good if we're going out.
Yay.
That sounds
I don't think
awesome.
any of us have rot suits, right?
No.
Right.
Okay.
So Sherry, roll your jury rig roll.
Okay. And I'm going to use my nail gun.
Okay.
And
nothing.
Wait. Okay, so I did
wrong.
So MYZ, and then do I have to have the brackets around it?
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's if you were reading computer code, I had this problem with people who knew how to read tech stuff before.
Yeah, I know, because that means usually nothing's there. This is that contains. Okay. Sorry. I'll get this. I got a bracket. Wow, look at all of those.
Ooh.
So now here's the thing. Sherry probably doesn't want to re-roll, because if she re-rolls, she's at least taking 1 damage on her nail gun, which only can take 2 damage.
Hmm.
And she'd be taking 1 damage on her wits.
So she'd get stupid confused for making it.
Yeah, but you just have to take like a little nap and you feel better.
Oh.
You're just befuddled.
Yeah. So Sherry, do you want to risk it?
Sure. Because they have to see that, right? So
they absolutely have to see that. What are the odds?
Oh no, they're certain that I will be taking some punishment.
Okay.
All of that, and I take a ton of damage.
Oh.
So, what is your wits?
My wits are 5.
Well, that's good, because it doesn't break you then.
Okay.
What happens if you get broken?
But
I don't know.
Kind of goes into a fetal position.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you'll take 4 points of damage on that stat. Your gun will drop 1 die in effectiveness.
Yeah, I have to repair it.
Yep. But
I forget. I got another 2 dice I was supposed to take. Damn it. And skill.
Well, why don't you roll 2 skill dice and then re-roll them if you need to?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Probably wouldn't have had to take it.
Skill dice are better because they don't cause damage to you.
Can I just roll 2d6?
Yes, you may roll 2d6.
5 and a 6. So
that's one success. And then roll 1d6.
Okay. So that would have given me 2 successes for all of that damage.
Okay.
But I think I nailed my hand.
So you may build a rot suit.
All right.
Okay. And with 2 successes, you can do a couple of things. One, you make it durable so it doesn't just fall apart.
Okay.
And it follows the normal equipment rules. You can have the gear bonus increased by 1. You can increase the protection rating by 1. And those are the big things.
Probably durable is the better one.
Yeah. So you have a rot suit that's protection rating 3.
Okay. But I really need a nap now.
Yes. And we'll come back on that. So we've kind of pushed towards the end of time, and I apologize. We kind of let that first part of the session kind of get rolling too much. We're gonna next time we're gonna start. We're going to I'll put the map up. We'll talk a little bit about that. Another project to do, and look at that. It'll be great. And then I'll draw the threat. We'll figure out what's going on. And we'll play that out. All of you participate in the session, so you get 1 experience point. And if you did a day's work on a project, you get another experience point.
Okay.
Is there any reason to keep bullets?
To use
What do you
them?
mean?
To shoot?
I mean, well, I don't think any of us has a gun.
Well, not yet.
I have
No
a
one has
scrap
a scrap
pistol.
Yeah, she has a scrap pistol, but yeah.
Would it be better to trade it for equipment? I mean, because I don't have anything.
Yeah, you can certainly do that.
Okay.
I think it's only 1 to buy a rot suit.
We have
I only have 2 bullets.
we still have 25 minutes though, right? Or no?
No, we just go to 10:30.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. On weeknights, I go 2.5.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
No worries.
Lowell, I'm just going to throw the picture for Bricktoria up in the Roll20.
Oh, okay.
chat.
Oh,
And,
excellent.
What is Bricktoria?
That is the boss that he.
Oh.
Okay, awesome. Oh yeah, the scout from Team Fortress.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
it's a cross-gender version. I actually have a couple of the cross-gender versions of those in the Pinterest thing.
How much is a rot suit cost, Lowell?
Okay, let me take a look at the price chart here real quick.
So we can before next session or whatever, we can just go shopping maybe and then let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Rot suit.
And the benefit of a rot suit is you don't mutate when you go outside, or
You don't get the rot. Rot is the worst thing.
Yeah, rot will build up in your system and cause damage over time.
And you get that just random roll when you go outside kind of thing?
Yeah, so what it is most zones have a rot rating, usually 1, which means if you travel through a rot rating 1 zone for a day, you're going to take 1 rot. And so the rot suit...
just automatically. Okay.
Yeah, and the rot suit gives you a chance to avoid taking that.
I see. Okay.
So a rot suit costs at least 4 bullets.
Okay,
4 bullets.
I will lend him the additional bullets so he can buy it. He'll pay me back later.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, that's really nice of you. Sure.
Okay.
That's a piece of money right there.
I owe you 2 bullets.
Okay. So that'll give you rot suit protection rating 3. The nice thing about rot suits and armor is they don't count as equipment. You're just wearing those.
Okay, cool. Is bullets really the best thing? Because I have grub and water I could give as well. I don't know.
You could give away your grub and water.
That.
I don't want to do that. Okay.
No.
You guys are scaring me.
Yeah, Lowell is just excellent.
Don't give water away.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to read this game.
In the last game we played with you, and we sold you sold all your hero points, and that turned out pretty well for us. So I'm taking the GM bargains in this game.
That's true. That's true. So we will do Roses and Thorns at the. Oh God, did you just try to roll it again and see what you got, Sherry?
She got a lot of good stuff.
Oh.
So we'll do Roses and Thorns at the end of next session. We'll start out with all of that prep and things, and feel free to take a look at those systems. If there's anything else you're like, okay, I want to know this mechanics, I can get you to those rules if you don't already have the PDF or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I can find. Oh, that's this window right here. This one. Duh. Okay. All right.